Hey Bears, Eric here. Have y'all seen this Olympic stuff? Have you seen this? I don't watch the Olympics. I'm not a big fan of the Olympics, never have been. So I was seeing a lot of this stuff secondhand from the opening ceremony on social media, and we can't really watch it here. The IOC, the Olympics, are notorious for being very heavy about copyright strikes and DMCAs and stuff like that, which there's a framing around that here from some of our least favorite channels. We're going to talk about that towards the end of this video. But I had to go and dig up and find out what was happening because, again, I don't watch this stuff. But apparently there was an opening ceremony for the Olympics, and a lot of people were saying it was the Last Supper and it was blasphemous and all this other stuff because religion is untouchable, blah, 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 like weaponized Christianity, like these zealots out there who want to make everything about themselves. It is absolutely wild. They see something and they immediately imprint on it. But yet they tell us that we're the snowflakes and that we're the ones that need to see, representation. But they get mad if anything even alludes to them. And then come to find out it wasn't even the Last Supper, which made it even more hilarious to me that they were getting mad about something that wasn't even about them. It's just, this is where we are, right? This is where we are in this situation. And then people here on YouTube have sort of jumped into the reactionary situation of this. I see a lot of people still calling it blasphemous and all that. I'm not about that censorship life. So if somebody wants to talk about anything, including religion, whether obviously there may be ramifications, you may suffer some sort of response to that. But I think this idea of censorship and banning or blocking something because you don't like it, these are the same people that would argue that they are being silenced or they are being canceled or they are being censored. So I think it's a ridiculous argument to begin with. But let's talk about the story here with Nikki Doll. I'm a huge fan of Drag Race France. I love this franchise. I wish I could do more Drag Race content on my channel. It doesn't perform very well over here because I'm not really in that algorithm, but I absolutely love Drag Race and I would love to do more content about this. But Nikki Doll, Drag Race France, all of these queens, love them. And it's about the use of calling drag queens and gay people a threat to children and stuff like that, like this whole storyline. So this is the headline here. I saved it a little bit later in the video because YouTube likes to come at us. Olympics 2024, Drag Race star threatens to sue Lawrence Fox over devious little PDF files remark. And it says here, RuPaul's Drag Race star Nikki Doll, who was one of the 3 French drag queens to carry the Olympic torch, has threatened to sue former GB News host Lawrence Fox over a recent tweet describing drag queens. And this goes on to talk about the details of the situation and the comments that he has made. But here's the interesting part about all this. Earlier this year, former Lewis star Fox was successfully sued for libel by RuPaul's Drag Race star Crystal and former Stonewall trustee Simon Blake following an exchange on X/Twitter. During the argument sparked by Fox's criticism of supermarket chain Sainsbury, which we don't have that here in the States. After a Black History Month celebration post, the Reclaim Party founder called the 2 men PDF files, as well as Coronation Street star Nicola Thorpe, I guess. A subsequent ruling issued on Thursday, on the 25th of April, ordered him to pay Blake and Drag Race star Crystal, whose real name is Colin Seymour, £90,000, I believe, each. And now we're looking at another possible legal ramifications for saying this. And this is the kind of stuff that I keep telling people. Calling someone something like this with literally no proof of it, with no reason to call them that, is egregious. It should not be done. I've had to deal with it. I deal with in my comment section. I deal with it from other people. You have to be very careful when you do this, because what happens is it saturates the internet. It makes it harder for actual people offending to be found, and it turns something that is very egregious into a general insult, and that's never a cool thing. And this is the kind of ridiculous, outrageous stuff that this community likes to get involved in. I've heard people say things about me on other streams. I hear everything, you guys, so I know you said it. I've heard people say stuff about me on other streams as well. And this is the kind of thing that is illegal in some countries, not just as libel, but you're not supposed to do this in general for other reasons. But most often it's used as a smear against somebody, who they are as a person, their brand, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And when you have someone that has already been successfully taken to court and found guilty of something, doing it again, I can only assume, if the system is the same as it here is in the United States, that this person will probably end up getting even stricter and harsher penalties, depending on how far it goes up the ladder. I don't know. I don't know how many times somebody can do something before they're found to be a repeat offender and heavier actions are taken. But you shouldn't be doing this, number one. So I thought this was quite interesting that this is the take back on it. I really hope that Nikki follows through with this because you just can't go around doing stuff like this. And we have to spend so much time mollycoddling Christians in this world who weaponize their Christianity and go after every single person who isn't a Christian. Do we not see the problem with that? If you were somebody who is Christian, I'm just very curious. Do you not see the problem with people in your community going around and going after people who are not Christian and then using that as an excuse to slander them, say libel things about them, attack them, demean them, call them evil and things like that? Do you not see a problem with that? Is that not an issue? Is that not an issue? We all have to exist on this world, right? We all have to exist together. I'm pretty sure you could easily just live your lives without being concerned about what we're doing and trying to say everything that someone does that looks like it has some sort of religious undertone connects directly to Christianity. I think that's a little weird. And here on YouTube, we have a couple of channels I want to talk about that are trying to frame this idea that the Olympics committee is going around and filing DMCAs against them over this specific opening ceremony. All right, so two channels here on YouTube that you're probably very familiar with if you watch my content or you run in these spaces is Hypnotic and Yellow Flash 2. Both of them have ran videos today that talk about the Olympics going around and false DMCAing channels to get their content removed from both X, YouTube, et cetera, and they're acting like it's some sort of new thing, that it's specifically because of the drama surrounding this Last Supper scene. Again, both channels are running with this. And to be fair, they're just reporting on what other people are reporting on, but then that spreads the idea of misinformation and disinformation, where if you just take a look at previous years, previous issues with the Olympics, you will see that any channel, any content creator in the past who has tried to rebroadcast or repurpose anything regarding the Olympics has been a target of DMCA takedowns from the Olympics. I'm going to give you an example before I go. I'm just going to give you one, but you can look it up on YouTube. There's plenty of examples. Here's one from 2 years ago with XQC threatening to sue the Olympics. I don't know whatever happened with this over a DMCA strike that happened to his channel for rebroadcasting clips and segments from the Olympics. And this is just one of many. If you type it up and you look it up on Google or YouTube, you will see that in the past, the Olympics Committee, IOC, has gone after, even the network has gone after channels that show portions of the Olympics. Now, this has been an argument for a while, whether or not this is legal or illegal. You can argue that in the comments, but the point is they are not specifically going after people who are talking about the Last Supper scene from the Olympics and targeting them in a weird way, like they've never done it before. This is something the Olympics Committee has done in the past. So it really doesn't have anything to do with what it is. It has to do with the pattern of behavior from the actual Olympics and the networks. I want to make it very clear on my stance about this when it comes to queer entertainment, whether it is outside of mainstream or within the mainstream. I don't believe in censorship. So therefore, I don't think that we should be straight washing or having to code switch queer entertainment because some Christian audience members may want to be mollycoddled or pandered to, or whatever you want to call it. That is not a fair expectation. I wouldn't expect them to do it for us. We should not have to do it for them. If we want to provide queer entertainment and show that we're here, this is what we bring to the table, this is the kind of art we create, we should be able to do that without you coming in and swooping in and saying that we should be censored and we should not be doing it just because your feelings were hurt. I'm sorry you're such a snowflake and your feelings were so hurt because you could not tell the difference between what the Last Supper is and some other historical artistic interpretation of another event. I'm sorry that your brains aren't big enough to be able to rationalize that and go looking for that. So that's my opinion on this. Fuck all those guys and keep doing you. Nikki, I wish you luck in this. Shouldn't be out here accusing people of criminal behaviors, actual criminal behavior, something they could be taken to jail over without any proof. That's not cool.